We're live.
Are we?
We are.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to today's Advent stream. We are going to light our candle. We're going to try some ice cream.
Ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
Really hot liquid ice cream.
We do have some Christmas ice cream, but we will not have it until later today. We're going to have our Advent candle lit. We are going to try some ice. I did it again. Oh my goodness. I'm not even that tired. Okay, let's try this. Third time. We're going to light the candle. We're going to try a tea. We have a question. And then we're going to read a devotion. We never actually picked a devotional. I think we're going to go with the one that I had been looking at that's a little bit shorter than the ones. They're more of a reflection. There we go.
Speaking from experience, don't accidentally stick your hand in fire.
Fire's hot.
Fire is very hot.
Very, very hot.
Yes.
Okay, let's start with the tea so I can get started steeping.
Hopefully we don't oversteep it again.
Is today the 20th?
Today is the 20th.
I think I might have to pay for tuition yesterday.
Oops.
We're about to find out. I'll look it up. I had other things on my mind. Okay, here's the 20th, and here's our tea.
She's excited for this one.
I hope it's yummy.
Uh-oh.
It sounds delightful. I would like this as a cold drink, I think. Sparkling cranberry.
Oh, fun.
Okay, let's do the whole smell first before I read the thing. Nope. Let's hand it to Alex to open, and I will look up sparkling cranberry. So this morning I was up extra early because tonight we're traveling over to my parents' house, and then tomorrow we're having a mini festive gathering, and we're going to have our annual Stewart family Christmas lights scavenger hunt.
Yes.
And so this morning I was working on the scavenger hunt and updating a previous one. So things that we haven't really been noticing, like Christmas lights, as you've probably witnessed, come in trends. So one year everybody had stars, and then they kind of disappeared to only one or two keeping them out. And then one year everybody had candy cane lanes. Maybe that's what was on sale at Canadian Tire. And they were everywhere. Everybody had a candy cane lane. And then I've only really noticed two this year. A few years ago, it was not just inflatables, but it was inflatable snow globes. And they were everywhere.
And huge.
And I have seen one this year, and it's the neighbor on the corner of our block that has 100. I actually tried to count, and I lost count at like 55 inflatables. I do kind of want to stand outside at their yard one day and just count how many things they have up. And I think they have a snow globe, and they have inflatables galore. So it's one of those, what have we been seeing? Mm-hmm. And then what are some, like, so you want some things that are definitely being seen. And if the snow globe, for example, if nobody has one out, it's really discouraging. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you want one or two things that somebody will probably still have out, like Santa in a sleigh. Now, that one was really hard last year because everybody had Santa in a train. It's an interesting smell.
I assume it smells like cranberries.
It does, but it also kind of smells like candy.
Oh, yeah. I get that.
This is a green tea with some low caffeine. It is steeping 3 to 4 minutes at 185 Fahrenheit. So hopefully that's cooled a little bit. There is, in a sparkling cranberry, what do you think the first ingredient is?
Not cranberry.
Apple, candied papaya, green tea, hibiscus blossom, artificial champagne, strawberry, cranberry, raspberry flavoring, rose petals, strawberry, cranberry, white cornflower blossom. And that's what makes up our tea today.
Yeah. I definitely see the cranberries. There are actually large chunks of dried cranberry right in there.
Okay. So today's Christmas question is, what What are your favorite Christmas lights to see?
Okay. So there's a couple of different ones that I really like. The first time somebody had sent me a link to a YouTube video of music, like lights that move to music. Now I think it was actually a Halloween one, not a Christmas one. It was what's that song by LMFAO?
Okay.
Party rock anthem, and it had like the house had two windows that were mirrored to each other with the door, so it actually looked like eyes. So like the lights, the way they would change, it looked like it was like the house was winking at you and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it was really well done. I was like, that is a really cool use of like programming light controllers and electric controllers for lights and stuff. And I really enjoyed it. And I've seen some with Christmas lights, and I really appreciate it. A number of years ago, I think it was the first scavenger hunt I did with your family, we drove by a house that was set to a local radio station, Christmas radio station, and they actually had a big sign on their lawn that says, tune into whatever the radio station was to hear the music that this is. And so you put it on, you'd hear it in your car, and you'd watch the lights, and you could see how the lights were working with music. So I think that's really cool. The other one I like, and it needs to be done just right, is the icicle lights, but the ones that kind of like they look like they're like dripping snow.
Yeah.
But it can't be the blue ones. It has to be the white ones, because if it's blue, it just looks cold. It needs to be like not a warm white, but a true white.
I've seen some hanging from trees that are like a rainbow, or like it's not white per se, and those ones I find look magical in trees specifically.
Yeah. It can't be overdone. Like it has to just be like one strand on the front porch. Like, anyway. So those are the two that I think really that I really like. Now that being said, our neighbor has I think she paid a number of years ago to have her tree strung up with Christmas lights, and she just leaves them there all the time and just unplugs them the rest of the year and just plugs them in over Christmas. And I have to say, whoever did it did an amazing job, and it looks really, really lovely. And she has the benefit of not having to take them down at the end of the year. She just leaves them there.
Yeah. I really enjoy often like a gabled roof. So that would be like a peaked roof with the white lights. I love a house that's white with like artificial or real boughs, maybe candles in the window. I don't know if it's historically accurate, but it reminds me, it gives me the nostalgia of a Edwardian or Dickens or even just a Victorian Christmas experience.
Do you want the lighter one or the darker one?
I think the darker one.
Okay.
So I like not every house looks good in white lights, but if it's a warm white light, I like them. And then what was called icicle lights, I find they look best on a gabled roof. So I really like that. And then I really like a house that just you could tell they had a plan. Mm-hmm. It's not even always like they have the most lights on the block, but that like even I'm looking out and the neighbor across the way is in an apartment very similar to ours, and the paneled window, they've just lined the inside of their house with white lights, and it just looks really lovely. Mm-hmm. Houses that just have some care. And then I really do like when I find something that is a piece of faith in their displays. So maybe it's a nativity, maybe it's a sign that says peace on earth, or an angel, or things like that. Do you know what I haven't seen that I used to always put on the scavenger hunt and it's been removed?
What's that?
Carolers. You used to have like 2 or 3 carolers. Mm-hmm. Our devotion is new today.
Ooh.
We are starting our last 5 days of Christmas prep. We are marching towards the end of the Advent season and the start of Christmas tide. Because, I'm sorry, I am I thought I was okay, but I am sniffly again today.
That's not fun.
I might spend most of our car ride sleeping.
Right. Me too.
That's what pilots.
That's what cruise control's for.
Okay, day 1. It's time to get ready. It's as if this is the first day of Advent, not the 20th. The best place to start is by preparing our hearts for Christmas. We hear all about the hustle and bustle. We feel the joy and sometimes even sorrow. Whether we face the holiday with excitement or sadness, readiness, or overwhelm, we can bring it all to Jesus. And may we experience the gift that comes from the beginning of time. I've got to read that again. Why don't you read that? It's the last line.
And may we experience the gift that was ours from the beginning of time for all eternity.
I don't know what I missed. I think it was the hours. Our prayer today. Dear Father God, please prepare our hearts for Christmas. We long to focus on the gifts you've given us more than anything else. Help us not to get wrapped up in the must-dos, to-dos, and out-dos of the season. Instead, remember that you are with us. Amen.
Amen.
And that is the whole thought for today. Here's our one verse.
We have one verse. It is from Colossians 3, verse 2. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things.
Yeah. I think my favorite line from that, you've already taken it away from me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Colossians 3.
No, I was going to go back to the prayer. Colossians 3 is great, but I think the line in the prayer that said, help us not to get wrapped up in the must-do, to-dos, and out-dos. And like I was just reading Am I the Jerk from a Reddit. That was not the word they chose, but Am I the AH? And it was a 30-year-old child who's just had their first baby, and there's a number of siblings. He has a number of siblings, and his mother goes overboard on everyone. They live in a small apartment, and so there's two pressures this guy's feeling. We get a whole bunch of things that our mom and other people buy us that we don't need and don't have space for, and we financially are feeling the burden of getting something for every brother, every sister, every niece, every nephew, and my parents, and everybody else who's going to be at this event. And so after talking to his brother of why don't you and our families only give gifts to our kids, everybody else in the family can decide what they want. And then he went and told his mom, like, please only get gifts for the grandkids. It would really help us, and we need to cut back. And the mom has taken it as, you're entitled, you're being selfish, why are you blindsiding me with this? He told them, like, before Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. And it was just
still over a month away.
It's still over a month away. And, like, you only ever get on a Reddit post like that one person's perspective, and you don't know the tone somebody said things or heard. But there are people who just take offense or get wrapped up in the outdos. I have to give everybody the same thing. And I think this is a good reminder that in the midst of this season, we can pause and just give all that to Jesus. Mm-hmm. And we don't need to be stressed about those things. Our memory verse at Polson Park this month is, do not be anxious about anything. And that's the first part of Philippians 4:6. The second part is the solution, because you can't just not be anxious. What do you do instead? And you take your concerns, your petitions, your worries, and with thanksgiving, give them to God.
Yep.
Don't be anxious about anything.
It's sometimes hard to remember to do that when the anxiety hits you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find the pace of life mixed with social media has increased, and we're out of the pandemic a few years now, but things that happened during the pandemic have increased people's anxiety. Mm-hmm. People who had good coping mechanisms are still recovering from an eroding of that sense of calm. And I think the other piece is, it's not so much that it was COVID. I think the way media has been presented over the last 30, 40 years has heightened every year the extremism and the worries and they know people watch it if they're sensational stories and they're fear-mongering stories. So we sound like we're worse off globally than we were 10, 15 years ago. And in the sense of things are getting better, but they're not there yet. Yes, there are areas in global health that can be improved. There are areas in finances, like we all know what inflation is. But on a global scale in history, like we have humanity as a whole is in one of the best situations, especially in the West. And yet we feel like we're worse off than in previous decades. And I think it is the way media riles us up, which means we're more likely to isolate and band together with like-minded people, but it means that we forget how to connect with others.
Yeah.
All that to go back to the phrase of help us not to get wrapped up in the must-dos, to-dos, and out-dos. Don't should yourself this year. That's my spiritual director says that. Liz, I hear you shoulding yourself. I should do this. I should do that. What does God want you to do? Like, what are the things that actually bring you joy and life? Where should you actually be putting your focus? And one of the things that, like, when she first said that to me, she's like, just notice when you're shoulding on yourself. I should do this. And that was the task. It's not even don't say it, but like notice when it was. And I started even things like, I have to make my bed. Oh, I should do this. Oh, I should do this. And then there was a couple times I'm like, wait, I like coming home to a bed that's made. I get to do this to help future Liz have peace of mind. I will make my bed because it's something I actually enjoy having done. It's not a task. It's not a duty. Anyway, don't shit on yourself this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, as I say that, we're going to do a whole bunch of tidying so that we go away and can come home to a house.
But
we're doing it because we like it that way.
We're doing it because we had people over. We talked about this recently. We had people over
Wednesday
night. And last night we were out at the church with a number of tasks. So we are still getting the last of the cleaning up done from having dinner guests over.
Yeah, because we have a very small sink. You can only do so many dishes at a time, and we don't have a dishwasher.
Yeah, so finishing the dishes before we leave for more than 24 hours ensures that we come home without moldy food stuck to plates. And
okay, that was not things I was going to put online, but okay. Yeah, just having things ready for us.
Coming home to a clean house
is lovely. Mm-hmm. May your day be filled with God's blessings and joy, and this holiday season, for the last 5 days, remember to breathe. Remember to breathe. Remember to take time, sit down, be kind to yourself. And yeah.
How's the tea, by the way, before we sign off?
Oh, I've loved this.
I like it very much. It's very mild. Like you don't really there's more smell than there is flavor, I find.
This would be a mid-afternoon tea for me. Mm-hmm. Like when would I want to drink this one? This is a mid-afternoon pick me up. It's subtle, it's nice. I could sip this for a while.
I would give it 4. I would possibly even consider giving it 5 cups because there's nothing about it that I go, eh.
I still like Sleigh Ride more, especially as a festive tea.
Fair enough.
But this is probably moved into the number 2 slot. So it's this Sleigh Ride, Sparkling Cranberry, Pear Blossom, Snickerdoodle, and I forget what Snickerdoodle was in line with. But those bourbon, sugar bourbon, burnt sugar, whatever. I didn't like sugar and bourbon at the end.
Okay.
So right now, Favorite teas out of the David T Advent is Sleigh Ride. This one was just Sparkling Cranberry, Pear Blossom, Snickerdoodle.
Okay.
In that order.